Excellent.
DubaZe.com and Transfamily UAE here with superstar DJ Ferry Corsten. Ferry, welcome back to the UAE.
Thanks a lot.
How's your experience been so far in this country? Do you like it?
Yeah, I've been here quite a few times and it's always good fun. Although lately I've been coming in and out straight away, so I haven't really had a proper chance to enjoy it.
Yeah.
But before I used to come here, spend a day. And, yeah.
Nice. Well, welcome back. We're happy to have you.
Thanks a lot.
So you've produced some fantastic tunes in recent years. Recent album came out last year. It's fantastic. But who's been the most fun to work with, to collaborate with?
I think Armin. You know, we know each other for such a long time already. So you know, when I go to his studio, he comes to mine. Okay. It is always you know, we just sit down and we don't really expect too much. You know, that's probably the best way to go into the studio. Very open-minded, and then you know we just have a drink and
definitely
get started. Definitely. And really, that's just fun. I'd say the most inspiring to work with would be Betsy Larkin, because for some reason I really feed off her and the other way around. You know, so musically it really works. So Made of Love and Not Coming Down, they were like. You know, they came down like that. It was really quick. Yeah.
Excellent. Looking forward to a lot more.
Right, we'll see.
Is there anyone you hope to work with that you haven't worked with yet?
Right now, I've done quite everything I had on my list. So it's time for a new list. Yeah.
All right. So if you're not a DJ now, what would you be doing with your life?
Well, I started to become an electrical engineer, but to design all the light stuff in buildings, and so I would be doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turned out differently. Thank God.
Much happier, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
At what point in your life did you realize that you're going to be big? Did something click in one day? You said, "Wow, this is happening."
When I produced Out of the Blue, Out of the Blue was a moment where I was already producing music, you know, and records were coming out and being released and stuff. But when Out of the Blue came out, all of a sudden it was under a different name, under System F, in '99. When that came out, it was like a totally new sound. There was nothing like it, and I wasn't even sure about the record. For me, it was one of those tracks where I was thinking, is it going to work? Yeah, is it going to work? What are we going to do with this? And everybody at the label was like, wow, this is crazy. So we just, you know, put out a few promo copies to the big DJs then, and within 2 days, the phone was off the hook. It was crazy, and you know, and the money that was being offered for the record went just, you know. I was like, wow, okay, there's a big demand on this track, right? So. Yeah, and then when it came out, it went really quick, you know, from moment of release to the first booking, and you know, in clubs I only could have dreamed of before, you know. It was never really my intention to become a DJ, to be honest. It was just because of that. So within this time span of maybe 3 months, you know, I was playing all of a sudden in the biggest clubs around the world.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so I knew, like, okay, this track is doing something for me right now.
It's going well, yeah.
So it's all about that one track sort of thing.
It is, and you know, you can put out music for the longest time, but it's just that one track that does it and puts you on the map, and people, you know, start following it and stuff. So,
a bit of advice for future producers, sort of thing.
In the end, it's you know, but it's at the same time, it's you know, it's also being original.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, that counts, because you know, you can try to produce that other, you know, hit record that is out, but I mean, you know, if you copy this particular track, that track has already been released, it's been a hit. Yeah. So it's not gonna, you know, it's not for you to try to rip it off. Come up with something original. Yeah,
definitely. Okay. So back in the Middle East, how do you think that the music scene is going here in the Middle East, and how it's been growing in the recent years?
It's good. It's steady. Let's put it that way. Yeah, because I've been coming here for about 7-8 years, I think, and it was kind of, you know, when I started playing here, the music was received by the crowd as in, like, what's this? You know, it's different. And I, also on Twitter and Facebook and you know, all the social media, I notice a lot of people from the Middle East responding and, you know, listening to my radio show. So it's a lot more the scene is a lot more in tune with what's going on really than so many years ago.
Yeah.
So and of course I think what helps is that Dubai is a scene already, but what helps is that Abu Dhabi, for example, is just really coming up as well.
Yeah.
And that's not just good for Abu Dhabi, but it's also good for Dubai because it's just that the whole region is just
Yeah, definitely.
It's more. There's more stuff happening, so it's cool. Yeah.
It's getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's good to see it. Yeah.
Out of all the countries that you've traveled to, which one do you think is your favorite, the most special one?
I love Australia. Australia for me is
just fun.
It's that's a special place. The people are very relaxed. The country is beautiful, and it's also because normally when I travel somewhere, I just go there and I'm gone the next day. Yeah. And in Australia, it's just so far. You just pack basically 2 weekends. So you're forced to stay in a way, but not really. It's not really a punishment, but but it's it's good. I love Australia. Yeah.
And what about your suitcase? What things do you have to have when you travel? Are there any essentials?
Laptop. Besides the necessary toiletries and all that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, laptop is there. That's it.
That's it. Just a laptop.
Just a
But a clean only, maybe. Yeah. Or two. Not
Travel light.
A and B side. Yeah.
Travel light.
No.
That's how it is.
Travel light. Yeah. As light as possible.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the State of Trance 600 is coming up. I know a lot of our fans in Trance Family UAE are really excited about it. You're performing in Sofia and also Miami.
Miami as well. Yeah. New York. Yeah.
So. Are you excited? Are you really ready for it?
Yeah, I mean, the event. I mean, the State of Trance has always had their events, but the last couple of years, the events have become really big, especially with some of them being broadcasted live. So it's great to be part of it. It's and there's a lot of anticipation every year. Again, you see, people. Putting this whole campaign together, vote for us to have the next ice, which is cool. So it's a great concept. Yeah.
Excellent.
We had a few fan questions for you. One of them was, what are your favorite events that you played in so far?
Ah, wow.
If you could name a top 3, maybe.
Yeah, it's difficult. Well, definitely Full on Ferry that I've done. It's my concept that I've done in Holland, and now also since last year all around the world. It's a really good fun because it's where I invite other DJs, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a trance DJ. It can also be a house guy or a techno guy, and I go back to back with all the guests. So it becomes really. It feels almost like an old school jam session when when I'm playing together with, for example, a Mark Knight, who is not necessarily in my scene, but music-wise we just, click, and that will have to prove itself if you click or not during your back-to-back set, right? So you feed off of each other, which is really cool. So that's definitely a cool concept that is topping my list. What else? Wow.
You played at some huge festivals.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
I mean, the crowds are just absolutely huge. There must be so much energy coming off them as well.
Yeah, Stereosonic in Australia is really good. This is one of my favorites. And I think ADC Vegas.
Yeah,
it was last year.
It was special last year.
Yeah, it was a good one.
Yeah.
Tomorrowland, I have to say. Tomorrowland in Belgium.
Yeah.
It's just the lineup itself, but the production. There's no festival.
The
like
stage setting, the particular stage you were performing at, was just amazing.
There's nothing like it. I mean, everybody can have like a massive, big production, but they just figured it out in such a way that it's top notch.
Yeah,
seriously.
definitely. And also, Boris Jetski asks, if you could look back on your career now, is there any particular things that maybe you would change or do differently?
Yeah, what I would have done, because it's only after a number of years that I started releasing stuff under my own name. So Punk was actually the first track that I released under Ferry Corsten. Before that, it was all System F, Gorilla, or whatever. So if I could change things, I would have had System F as Ferry Corsten, So ever since the first release of that, Gorilla, not Gorilla, but Ferry Corsten, and maybe Chester then, but definitely not so many aliases. But the aliases thing was a product of the time, labels wanted their exclusivity on a certain name. So it's all different now. Now you can just release under name X with label this. But then, you know, you could only release under this name with that label because they claimed the exclusivity on the name, right? So with another label, you had to use another name. And I was just really simply producing too fast and too much music for one label, so I had to go to other labels to get it out. That's why I had all these different names. But yeah, right now I would definitely do that differently.
Excellent.
Yeah.
If you ask Kayal, he asked you specifically, what's your favorite track?
My favorite track? That's almost like asking which one of your 5 children do you like the most. You know, it's impossible to answer that. It's with every track you produce, you have a different sentiment, you have a different feel. So but if I would have to pick a remix and a track, I think my favorite remix would be Adagio for Strings that I've done for William Orbit, simply because of the piece of music. Yeah, it's such a beautiful piece of music. And my own production, I think, would be Rocky Body Rock, because it was just such a fun record. It had everything in it: house, trance, electro, everything. You know, all the elements of every genre, plus the vocals, the vocoder, the robot vocal. It's me. You know, it was just fun to actually play around with your own voice and, you know, run it through a vocoder and just mash it up. And it was really cool fun.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just one last big question. Who do you think is going to be the producer of the best track of 2013, in your opinion?
Wow.
There's so many big productions coming up.
Yeah, but
Andrew Real has really done well last year. So.
Well, my favorite really goes to Porter Robinson. I think he's doing some amazing stuff, and it's one of those producers who is actually hard to put in one place. And on the one hand, he makes housey stuff, but it has a trancey top line, and you know, so both trance DJs and house DJs can play his music, and it's just very, it's very atmospheric stuff. Very well produced. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Ferry Corsten, thank you very much for coming to Dubai.
For sure. Yeah.
Have fun with your set.
Should be fun.
I hope to see you back soon.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.